Our existing homes are responsible for something like 17% of our national carbon emissions, and with the climate and ecological emergency we've got, addressing emissions from our existing homes is of vital importance.
I think sustainability is going to shape the future of the industry significantly. The project where we are today is part of the Social Housing Decarbonisation Fund, which was a central government initiative.
The properties actually had to have a low EPC rating to be included in the property list for the Social Housing Decarbonisation Fund.
We fit in external wall insulation, cavity wall insulation, loft insulation, new windows and doors, air source heat pumps, new roofs or roof extensions and solar panels.
We have to improve the thermal envelope of the property, and that's where the difficulties come in. Every home is different, every home has a resident living in it. The disruption, the difficulty, the detailing and the cost of increasing the performance of the thermal envelope adds complexity to the project.
So most of the works we're doing is on the outside. So if you like, we're kind of overwrapping and insulating the building on the outside while the residents are still living in their homes on the inside. Most of the houses are originally brick. Some have got cavity walls that were insulated quite poorly in the past. Others are solid wall construction. So that's why we're having to put all this insulation on the outside. We use two types of insulation. There's a stone wool product, which means it's non-flammable and it's a very stable product. So working from the bottom up, we've got this below ground insulation. We've got there's a metal track here that we then use to then support, and the new insulation, which then gets pinned back into the walls. We're also on the outside, we're replacing all the windows and doors. And again, this is quite tricky within the retrofit work, because on these properties, because we're having to pull the windows and doors out into the insulation zone. If we kept the windows and doors and replaced them back where they were originally, then we would be creating a thermal bridge as you work your way around the corner. And so pulling all the windows and doors out into this insulation zone means you've got a nice, simple thermal envelope that you're introducing as part of the works.
As a result of the project delivery, we hope that our residents here are going to get lots of benefits, including better insulated homes, less drafty properties and lower bills.
We've just started to do what we're calling extending the roof eaves, because we're putting in almost 200 mil of insulation, which will come to about out here. And then we've got the render finish on the face of that as well. And we need to protect that new render finish from any water that comes down from the roof. Energy bills are only going to go higher, and they're going to go much higher as our sources of energy become more scarce. The retrofit work that we're doing today is setting a standard for energy efficiency, which means that the issues of future energy bills should be reduced. Most residents who are in their buildings will hardly have to heat their buildings at all in the winter with the amount of insulation and the range of the components that we're adding onto the existing building. We're now at Richmond Drive, which is a series of bungalows which are built around a courtyard. All of the properties that were down to be retrofitted, but there's one property behind me that wasn't on the list. But that allows you to see what the property looked like before we did the work, and then what it looks like now we've completed the scheme. So the existing property behind me has two issues. One is the exposed concrete that you see around the door and the windows opening, which is forming a thermal bridge. The second issue is the height of the eaves in relation to the tops of the windows.
We've really enjoyed working with an enlightened client such as Clarion Housing Group, who've got a large amount of stock that needs dealing with, but are willing to really put the effort into understand the problems and roll forward, particularly with the Social Housing Decarbonisation Fund Demonstrator project and into Wave 1.